So our next speaker is someone who has an interesting journey himself. He is the managing director of Induct AS Asia and MENA. He himself has been a serial technopreneur and is also an angel investor. He's not only gone through investments, but he's also gone through 5 exits and 2 IPOs. That's something, a lot of time consumption on those. At the moment, he's running 100 open startups, which is a movement that actually connects startups, entrepreneurs, scientists, looking at collaborating on challenges that society faces. What a wonderful idea to get everybody together, Varad. Over to you. Let us know more about your journey.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. So I would just begin my journey by saying, like most of you, I was also a graduate engineer, went to work for large companies, then went into entrepreneurship, been through 5 exits, of course, quite a few startups, but then 5 of them were notable because they became exits, including 2 IPOs. And the last one, which was named, is Induct. So that was something I exited in the month of Jan 2016, and I'm still part of that. And also mentoring and guiding and investing in so many startups today. So just to tell you what I do right now is to help startups. They don't have to go through the challenges I went through because today, if you want to be an entrepreneur, there is open to signify open innovation and startups. So this whole methodology became a case study of the Harvard Business School in 2016 because of the kind of success and the sustainability we brought. And today, if you really look at what we've achieved is in terms of helping the whole ecosystem, right? Because we have levels, as I mentioned to you, from level 0 to level 5. The level 4 is considered as an exit event, where early stage investors get bought out by later stage investors, as well as by VCs. And the, as I mentioned to you, right, this money they make, maybe 2x, 3x, whatever, they can then cycle it back into other investments, other startups, right? So that leads to sustainability. So that is what we have achieved. And I must tell you that as I speak with you, many exits have also happened, something like 80 exits so far in the last 5 years in the program. So this is phenomenal because, bringing to that full closure, right? Completing the whole cycle where you raise the investment, build the startup, and then become sustainable, raise further rounds, right? From an early stage point of view, the investors, let's say angel or what you call the pre-series A, from their perspective, their success is measured on the following rounds, the follow-on rounds, as we call it, right? They're able to get that. So this happens on our program. And then finally get bought out by a corporate, or they can do an IPO, or get bought out by a unicorn. So interestingly, we have almost something like 8 of the unicorns have got into buying arrangements with startups. They bought something like 12 of the startups in the program. So this also shows it's a very healthy ecosystem where the unicorns can go very fast, leapfrog their innovation cycle by buying startups. And so that was also the thesis of our program, that you can indeed build startups without investors' money. And this is what we set out to do. And I'm happy to tell you, we have achieved that you can indeed build startups without investors' money. And you can go to investors when you really need money. So thereby, the founder or the promoters don't have to sell their equity so early, so fast. They can grow fast with these businesses that come. Typically, the top 30 odd ranked startups get anywhere between 25 to 30 contracts. So you tell me, if they've got that many contracts, where is the need to raise money, right? So this is also a major success that we've achieved on the program. And lastly, I want to also say, we believe in collaboration. So our tagline is collaborate to co-create the future. It's not only the collaboration between the startup and the big companies or the SMEs, it's also between the people, various people, like the accelerators, incubators, just name it. Everybody in the ecosystem has a role to play. And we have, for everyone, something to offer, so that they can leverage it. For example, any startup that is coming out of an accelerator goes directly to level 4, fast track. And similarly, any startup coming from an incubator goes fast tracked to level 3 on our program. So thereby what happens is we are also bringing an additional growth path to those startups that are passing out from these incubators and accelerators. So I would like to thank once again the TIE Global Organizing Committee for this opportunity. There's a lot we need to do together. It's just a beginning. And as I said, it's all about collaboration between the various stakeholders and amongst the stakeholders. And we have to go on to build from this level to the next level and so on. So thank you once again. And I'm here to collaborate with each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Varad. Those were some impressive numbers: 25,000 contracts, $800 million in investments, 80 exits, and over 2,000 startups. But the other thing which you mentioned was very interesting is startups create a solution, but there's no problem to solve. Our next speaker is actually trying to get startups to find the problems, somebody who actually can get the sales done. Jay Swamidas is the head of sales for global system integrators, cloud and service providers at Veeam. And so he's somebody who can tell you how to get your story and get the sales and get your market there. He's also a compelling public speaker and a proven team leader. Jay, I'm sure everybody would love to hear you talk about how to make that perfect sales pitch.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I'll just quickly go ahead and share my screen. Please let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Jay, we've actually, I don't think there's screen sharing around, so because we just want to hear your story. So it would be just good if you can just, just let us know what they can do. Thanks.
All right, very happy to do that. So thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate your participation at this time. And I understand all of you have several priorities. So thank you very much for making this a priority for yourself today. Well, I represent Veeam Software, and at Veeam Software, we are a company that provides data protection and data availability for the multi-cloud environment. And multi-cloud is something that has become a reality for all organizations across. And as many of you on this session might know, there have been various debates in the past about what is the right cloud, where should the workloads really be present. But I think the consensus that has emerged is that multi-cloud is the way to go. And before I really say anything further, I would like to draw your attention to a report that the World Economic Forum published earlier this year, sometime in January. And the report was basically a report about the global risks landscape for the decade. So that's for the decade 2020 to 2030. And in that, some of the risks that were called out were extreme weather, natural disasters, infectious diseases, and water crisis. And I think at the beginning of the year, that might have left us scratching our heads a little bit. But as we are in December this year, in the middle of what has been a global pandemic, I think that report really has proven itself true. And while we speak about the global pandemic, clearly it has had its long-lasting impact across all stratas of society, across all kinds of businesses. And we really need to examine, what exactly is the solution that we can provide, or set of solutions that we can provide to customers all across who are dealing with the pandemic. From a Veeam software perspective, what we generally see is the pandemic has brought about a serious increase in the number of ransomware attacks. And I think that's proven itself. If you've seen the number of reports of major corporations you would have thought are very secure and who have extremely tight security protocols, even they have not been spared attacks by the ransomware. So at Veeam Software, we believe that's one area where we can make a difference by helping organizations to quickly come back and be very agile in how they recover from any cyber attacks or ransomware attacks which takes place on their organization. And besides that, there's definitely one other point about ensuring that the workforce, which is predominantly mobile right now across several organizations, they are able to access the data that they generate, or they're able to access the data that they need to access in order to do their day-to-day functions at their work. So Veeam software helps organizations across the globe secure that particular access and ensure that there are no disruptions to that particular aspect. At Veeam, we feel that what's very important is being able to provide a particular capability is one thing, but also being able to do it across the landscape is quite another. So it's really of no use if you're able to do something very specific to ransomware, but very limited to only a particular set of workloads. But we are able to provide our solutions across the landscape. It could be physical environments, virtual environments, or even public cloud environments, or a mix of all, which truly would be a multi-cloud environment. So we are able to provide solutions based on that. And what I would also like to share with you is this is something that has been recognized by Gartner, Forrester, and IDC. So they have recognized our leadership position and our contributions to this particular industry. So we've been named a Gartner leader once again this year. In our space, we've been also named a leader by Forrester in the Forrester Wave report. And we've also been named by IDC as the number one in market share growth. So clearly that speaks volumes about our ability to deliver what our vision is and to be able to deliver this promise. And our promise is really to be able to provide backup and disaster recovery solutions that enable cloud data management for various organizations. And if you look at it from an India perspective, particularly, one of the things which we will notice in the landscape of IT across the country is the adoption of the cloud, specifically the public or the multi-cloud environments. And if you look at the kind of revenues that has been associated with the public cloud space, in 2019, India as a country was a $2.2 billion cloud market. In less than 2 years, which is next year, we will see that that particular number is going to balloon to over $4 billion. So clearly there is a lot of opportunity in the cloud space, both for buyers and sellers alike. And cloud is truly a platform that allows organizations to deliver digital transformation. And digital transformation, as you know, is pretty much the number one priority for all the CEOs across the globe. They believe that digital transformation is going to be the number one activity that is going to drive top line revenue growth. And when you combine all these aspects, digital transformation, the multi-cloud adoption, coupled with the fact that we are having to deal with the effects of the global pandemic, nobody really has been spared. All industries alike, all people alike have really faced the brunt of this. But the fact is, businesses need to continue to deliver growth. They need to continue to deliver value for their customers as well as their shareholders. And for that to happen, one of the core areas for them to protect and be sure of is their investment in the multi-cloud infrastructure, because that's what is really going to drive the digital transformation, which in turn is going to drive the growth for them. And at Veeam Software, we believe we are uniquely positioned to do that. I'll just leave you with a little bit on how our performance has been in the market, which serves as a testament to how we've grown last year. So we've been able to deliver 20% year-on-year growth versus an average of about 1%, which the rest of our peers in the same industry have been able to grow. So clearly that says something about our ability to deliver data protection and data availability in a multi-cloud environment. So in the beginning, I was brought on saying I could definitely share some tips on how we could make a sales pitch. So I think the real sales pitch is to be able to solve problems for our customers. And cloud is one space which is going to continue to grow. There are lots of opportunities in the cloud for startups and large corporations alike. In fact, the best solutions, the most exciting innovations are all cloud enabled. And while you are able to utilize the benefits of all these innovations and capabilities delivered by the cloud, you need to make sure that you are having a strategy that secures your data, and you also have a strategy that helps you recover from disasters like cyber attacks and ransomware. So that really is what I wanted to share with you today. Obviously, would have loved to speak a lot more, but given the time, these are the messages that I would like to share and leave you with. Of course, happy to take any questions if the panelists
So
allows it.
if you
Uh,
could, Jay, you could please, if you link your profile with an open mic speaker in the event desk, whoever has questions can reach out to you. We're looking at this being a great form of networking where people can reach out to the speakers here, and you can have your own connects and do a one-on-one engagement.
sure.
But thank you so much, Jay. That was really interesting to hear about how you have to look at digital transformation, and that the cloud plays such a pivotal role in this transformation. Thank you so much. It was a very interesting session.